weekly sit-down with local agricultural leaders and businesses. This is Tailgate Conversations. Presented by Pinnaker Chevrolet. Located on the outskirts of Rogersville lies a truly unique restaurant established by Tamara and Craig Von Forrester. This restaurant, Harvest, is near Tamara's family farm, and her husband, Chef Craig, utilizes their fresh produce to create flavorful dishes, sure to impress even the pickiest palate.
As a kid, I was always hungry, and I found out the food was in restaurants, and it just followed that course. I actually was a math major and started working in restaurants as a kid, big 6 kids, single mother. So, we had to earn money, and had an affinity for restaurants and was very good at it, but I was always going to go back to college. And so I took a summer vacation after freshman year of college and ran out of money in Monterey, California. Never made bus money back home and found a job in a restaurant, and in a Greek restaurant right on Monterey Bay. And over the years, my family would be, so are you going to waste your life, or are you going back to college? After about 10 years of that, I finally woke up one day and went, I already have something I love to do, and that is a rare thing to find, to spend your life doing something you love. And at that point, I really became serious and dedicated. I always worked hard, and I had chef and sous chef positions, but at that point, something clicked, and I just decided, this is it. I have found what I was meant to do, and it's been that way ever since.
While in California, Craig met Tamara.
She asked for a recipe, and I gave her the recipe, and I'm sure she may have related this story, but we dated for several months before we realized that we had met.
The very same recipe served at their wedding several years later. Their relationship is truly a marriage of complementary talents.
And she's a very, very good cook and is passionate about food as well, and the farming and gardening, and our skill sets really match up well. As she does everything and I cook.
Stepping into the kitchen with Chef Craig unveiled a whole new culinary world. Learning about recipes and food preparation from the chef's point of view is truly eye-opening.
Each week in the kitchen, you are developing an entirely new menu for Harvest Restaurant based on what you're growing in your garden and what you are sourcing from the local growers throughout the area. Kind of take us through that process and what you do to get to how you get your creative juices flowing.
Well, the way I cook is sort of opposite the way most restaurants work. Most restaurants conceive of a dish and then they source the ingredients. So the ingredients can be good one week and not so good the next week. I look at the ingredients and then I create the dish. Weather can have a lot to do with it.
Absolutely.
If it's cold out, you're gonna do one dish. Hot, you're gonna do another. And so a little bit of everything sort of inspires me.
Well, we're late in the summer season, so we've picked some, heirloom tomatoes from your garden today. Take us through what we're gonna see you make.
I'm going to make what they call a panzanella salad, sort of my variation on it. It's basically a bread and tomato salad. And in this case, because of the tomatoes, I'm going to sort of feature the tomatoes more than the bread. And so the bread's in more of an accompanying role. We just harvested a large amount of basil that I turned into pesto. And so I'm gonna start by using the pesto that I've made. And I don't go really far afield with attempting to create new flavor combinations. There's nothing I've found that is better with tomato than basil and cheese.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, so this tomato that Tamara harvested today looks like a Cherokee purple, but she usually gives me the list of what the tomatoes are because we do grow so many different varieties. And one of the things that helps with the farm is that we have a wide variety of herbs and flowers that she harvests every day for me because they really have a one-day life. And I like to use those as salads or as garnish on different items. This is our focaccia that we make, and I've just cut it into very thin crisps. And
what's in that? Take us through.
Oh, the focaccia?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Italian style bread, and just a yeast-raised bread. A lot of what we do is sourdough starters, but we yeast-raised bread, and it has a lot of olive oil, and it's topped with herbs from the garden and garlic and olive oil and sea salt. And so it's really intensely flavored. A lot of times a panzanella will be almost predominantly bread with some tomato.
But you're really going to feature the tomato.
Yeah, the tomato, the bread is just sort of the accompaniment for the tomato. And of course, in the sort of the farming spirit, I try to waste nothing, and any end that I don't use is going to become soup or sauce. So it's total utilization, and because these are just too beautiful and too good to even consider wasting any of it. And there we go. And then I have a balsamic vinaigrette here.
By using only the freshest ingredients, Harvest is able to stand out in southern Missouri. But the food isn't Craig and Tamara's only passion. They strive to support the agricultural industry by sourcing ingredients from local farms and ranches to supplement their own produce.
So when you have your guests come in and you've got a full house, each weekend, what do you want them to walk away with? What kind of experience do you want to provide them here?
Well, I mean, of course, that they're happy, that it's memorable, and it's how I think of it sometimes is that food and restaurant can be sort of the accompaniment to memorable events in your life. I like it to be front and center, and I want people to be amazed. I want them to talk about it, but I want it to enhance whatever they're doing.
If you are looking for a restaurant that is sure to impress, but also has a warm and friendly atmosphere, look no further than Harvest.